What did you say?
What did you say?
This is Daria Valkenburg. Do you have hearing loss? I do.
I am Annie Lee McDonald, and I have hearing loss, and I wear 2 hearing aids.
I'm deaf in my right ear. Today's topic discusses why hearing aids can be a challenge to accept for some people and why it shouldn't be a dirty little secret. Our guests for this episode are Jane Scott and Dawn Gribble, partners who have shared their lives for decades. Unlike many of us where only one partner has hearing loss, both Jane and Dawn have hearing aids. Dawn, what's it like to live with a person who's got hearing loss when you've got hearing loss yourself?
Oh, no problem at all. If I don't want to listen, I just take my hearing aids out. But hearing loss really shouldn't be a problem. We've got a friend who's actually worse hearing than I have and refuses to wear hearing aids. He got very good at lip reading, and suddenly with COVID, with the masks, he can't read lips, and he's become quite grumpy. I don't think hearing loss is really an issue. Hearing aids really aren't a problem.
Even our friend who has severe hearing loss didn't even realize that Dawn was wearing hearing aids. They're so invisible. For those people that are afraid to wear hearing aids, don't be, because most people won't even notice.
Yeah.
So what bugs you the most now when you go out? Do you not find that people just sort of pretend that hearing loss doesn't exist, like in services and businesses?
Yes, in the fact that glasses are accepted, hearing aids are not. And people feel very self-conscious about them, and they shouldn't.
It's sort of like a secret. And I know when I first got my hearing aid, when I had unilateral hearing loss when I was about 39, I had people that would come up and whisper to me. She says, "Oh, I notice you have a hearing aid. What's that like?" And it was sort of like a dirty little secret. I had short hair and wore my hearing aid with pride, and people were so surprised that I didn't grow my hair so that it didn't show.
Anything you'd like to add about the experience?
Biggest frustration is when he doesn't put his hearing aids in. And we know it when he doesn't put his hearing aids in.
And it's so much nicer when you can actually hear.
The fatigue that sets in if you're in a noisy environment and you don't have the hearing aids is quite substantial when you're having to listen so hard. I can hear fairly well without my hearing aids, but I find that in noisy environments, I really get absolutely fatigued if I don't wear my hearing aid.
You can tell the difference when you're listening without the hearing aids and with them. It's much more tiring.
So don't forget to put your hearing aids in.
Thank you very much. Isn't it refreshing to hear how Jane and Dawn cope with hearing loss and keep their sense of humor? Here are their 3 main tips. Number 1, don't be afraid to wear hearing aids. Chances are most people won't even notice. Number 2, wear your hearing aid with pride. It's so much nicer when you can actually hear. Number 3, trying to hear without hearing aids, particularly in a larger group or a noisy environment, will tire you out much more quickly than if you wear your hearing aids. Do you have a tip or story that you want to share? Email us at hearpei@gmail.com. That's hearpei@gmail.com. Catch you next time. This podcast was sponsored by a grant from Resource Abilities with excellent technical production by Wendy Natras. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and have learned some new tips and tricks for hearing loss accessibility.
In today's world, you're hearing all kinds of sounds, and you must have coping strategies to be able to hear what you want to hear and be able to put in the background what you don't want to hear.
Join us on our next podcast of What Did You Say?
What did you say?